So this one on the second page is called a system of equations, and we're going to solve for 3 equations with 3 variables. So we're going to go back to grade 10, which you did a system of equations. Do you remember that title? It was an outcome in grade 10. Do you remember if I told you in grade 10 you would have solved this by either graphing, substitution, or elimination? Does that kind of maybe ring a bell? Okay, if I were to pick a method from grade 10, so I said, do you want to graph this? Probably not. Do you want to substitute in something? Or do you want to eliminate? Do you remember which one you might want to do on this one? Okay, it's called elimination because they're stacked on top of each other. So my goal is to get rid of x's or get rid of y's. Do any of them match already? No. So what do you want to make match? Do you want to make the x's the same or the y's the same? Doesn't matter to me. You just pick. Anybody pick a letter? X. Okay, so I'm going to make x the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to times this line by 5. And I'm going to times this line by 2. Why am I doing that? It's because I foresee myself setting it up that they're both going to be 10x over a 10x. Okay, so I'm going to write this down times by 5. So 10x plus 15y equals, is that 80? 16 times 5? Yep. Okay, the next one I'm going to times by 2. So 10x minus 8y equals 34. Okay, now here's my question. How do I get rid of these x's? Would I add them together or subtract them? Subtract them. So I'm going to subtract these lines. So 10x subtract 10x, gone. Okay, be very, very, very careful here. What is 15 subtract negative 8?
23.
Positive 23. Okay, integer stuff, that's got to come back into your brain. Subtracting negatives make you add, right? And then 80 subtract 34. $46. So now I have an equation with just a y in it, so I can isolate, divide, and I get 2. Okay, so this is y, but now I got to go back somewhere and figure out what x is. Do you remember doing this? Looking familiar yet? How do I get x? I'm going to go back to an equation at the top. I'm going to pick this one. So 2x plus 3, oh, y, I know y. And so I'm not going to write y, I'm going to write 2 equals 16. So that's called a plug-in, right? You solve for one, you go back, plug it in. 2x plus 6 equals 16. Isolate, so subtract 6. So I would say the solution to this is the coordinate 5, 2. And then last year when you graphed, it'd be like, oh, this is a line and this is a line. And then that's the coordinate where they meet each other. That's what you were doing in grade 10. Okay, I only had one grade 10 example because I thought it was going to come flowing back into your brain. I'm not sure if some of your faces are expressing that. You did it, right? Do you remember maybe doing it? Okay, we're amping it up a notch here though. So that was 2 equations, 2 variables. So grade 11 is 3 equations, 3 variables. Okay, step 1. Let's do some labeling because this is going to get messy. So this is equation 1, 2, and 3. Okay, let's plan this out. Got to have a plan. Which letter looks the best to get rid of? Out of the X's, the Y's, or the Z? Is there one specific letter that maybe is easier? Z's? Okay, so I'm going to do that. Which 2 equations do you want to pick? Doesn't matter to me. You just have to pick 2 equations to put together. Should we do the first 2? Okay, so there's the first 2. We're going to write them. I'm just copying. Okay, so we're putting equation 1 and 2 together, and we are saying, hey, let's get rid of Z. Okay, now when you look at it, would you add or subtract to get the Z's out? Add them together. Okay, so X plus 2X. Y plus 3Y. The Z plus the negative Z is gone. Okay, so this is a new equation. I'm going to label it equation 4. Okay, now we have to repeat that exact same process. So we're going to eliminate Z. But this time we have to pick 2 different equations. So what are some other combos you could do? You could do what else? Equation 1 with 3. Or you could do equations 2 and 3. What do you want to do? Should we just go 1 and 3? Doesn't matter. This is why I love grading this one, because there's so many different combos. My answer key is very big. So you and your partner might do completely different things, but you're all going to get to the same answer. Okay, so 1 and 3, and we have to eliminate Z because we did that the first time. We have to stick with that. Subtract. Okay, be careful. Go nice and slow with this integer stuff. This is where the mistakes happen. 1 subtract 3. -2. Slow and steady wins this race because of the integer stuff. Ready? This is a 1 subtract a -2. 3y. 1z subtract 1z. Gone. That's the goal. Okay, so then we came out with a new equation at the bottom, so I'm going to call it number 5. Okay, now we're done. Grade 11. Look at this. This is just grade 10 stuff now. I have 2 equations with just x and y, 2 variables. Okay, so we're putting these together from grade 10 style. What do you want to do here? Those aren't the same, those aren't the same. So you're going to have to do some multiplying. What do you want to do? Do you want to make these, turn these both into a 6? Or do you want to turn these both into 12y's? What do you want to do? 6. Okay, so let's attack those x's. So here's my organizing. I'm going to take equation 4 and times it by 2. So now I'm going to take equation 5 and times it by 3. Some of you might have times it by -3. That's fine as well. The only thing it would change is if you're adding or subtracting when you're done. Okay, the way I did it, would I want to add or subtract those numbers? Add. So gone 17y 34. So this is like grade 10. I got one thing now, so y equals 2. Okay, do you understand the shape of, what are those, like when you play a game and the salt is inside and it times you? What's that called? Is it like an hourglass? Okay, so the shape of that, we started big and we funneled it down. Okay, now we kind of have to funnel it back out. So, funneling backwards, I'm going to take this to the middle steps. The middle steps are 4 or 5. Okay, we're going to plug that in. The plug-ins happen. Which one do you want to plug into? You have the option of 4 or the option of 5. Which one looks easier math? 4. So I'm going to go 3x plus 4, replace plug in y, equals 11. Okay. Just work your algebra. So I got a 1 on that. Okay. Hourglass. Remember, we're working our way out. So where should I go now if I'm working back out? So there, I got 1. I plugged it into 4 or 5. And now I have 2 things. So where should I go plug in now at the end? 1, 2, or 3. So that's me funneling back out, right? You go up to the 4, 5, and then you go back up to the 1, 2, 3. Which one looks like the best math? Equation 1. So x plus y plus z. So x is 1 plus y is 2 plus z equals 6. So 3 plus z equals 6. So therefore z equals 3. So the final answer, writing it as a coordinate, is 1, 2, 3. And that is a math coordinate. Something you've never done before and will never do, but do you know what kind of math coordinate that would be? 3-dimensional. So x goes left and right, y goes up and down, and the z-axis comes in and out, like of your paper. Okay, let's do one more. Okay, I'm labeling 1, 2, or 3. Okay, make your plan before you start. Check out the x's, check out the y's, check out the z's. Is there any in particular that look easier to get rid of than the other letters? Not really. I think I'm just going to be picking X. Okay, so I'm going to eliminate X, and I'm going to eliminate X. And there's my setup. I have to pick 2 equations to get rid of X with, 2 equations to get rid of X with. So that's how you always would start. Okay? Okay? You don't necessarily pick X, you pick whatever one you want, but you have to pick the same one on these steps. Okay, I'm going to go with equations 1 and 3. 1 and 3 are going to get put together. Okay, we're getting rid of x's, so the next question you should say in your brain is, should I be adding or subtracting these lines? I'm going to subtract them. So 2 subtract negative 3. 5y. Ooh, do your math here. Ready? Negative 3 subtract a negative 1. And then 11 subtract the negative adds the 8, so 19. And then we call this the 4th equation. Okay, so if we're going to repeat this process, so that's 1 and 3, we could go 1 and 2 or 2 and 3 together. What do you want to do, 1 and 2 together or 2 and 3 together? 2 and 3? Okay, but you know what I'm going to have to do to the 3rd equation? To match, I'm matching x's. I'm going to times this line by 2. So equation 2 and 3, so look at my organizing. I'm going to align equation 2 and equation 3 doubled. You see all my pre-planning? I got to prepare for all this ahead of time. Very, very, very common mistake is for people to times something by 2 and then they forget to do it to everything. Like I get a lot of people who times these coefficients, but they forgot to times the number on the other side or something. So just make sure you're going slow and steady. Okay, would we agree we'd have to get rid of the x's with subtraction? Okay, so 7y. Keep going. How many z's? How many numbers? Okay, are we matching with our integers? 7, 3, and 15? Okay, now remember the next thing is we're putting 4 and 5 together, so let's check this out. These don't match, these don't match, so we're going to have to multiply. Do you want to be turning these both into 35s or do you want to turn these both into 6s? 6s, so we're going to times that by 3 and we're going to be timesing this by 2. 19 times 3 is 57, by the way. Okay, that's good, the setup. So add or subtract those z's out. Add them out, so 29y equals 107. Whoa, no, wow, 87. Just seeing if you're also doing it. Just checking, just checking. 3. Okay, we have something. Now what? We're at the middle of our hourglass now. We got to that spot. Now what? We got to start working out. So where should we go working out? Back out. Where's our next? To the middle. So which is the middle part? 4 or 5 is the middle part. So we're going to plug in. Which one looks better for you? 5? I'm going to pick 5 because I don't like working with subtractions. So 5, I'm going to go 7, plug in y, plus 3z equals 15. Okay, so like I said, when you hit that middle of the hourglass, now you start the plug-ins heading back out. Okay, working our way back out more. So where are we at if we work more out? At the 1, 2, or 3. Which one do you like the best for math-wise? 2? Okay, so equation 2 is 2x plus plug in y plus plug in z equals -1. And then you will see me answering in my answer key when you check your answers in a coordinate, and it will always be written alphabetical, right? X, Y, Z. X, Y, Z.